Joshua Tree National Park, famous for its unique desert landscapes, iconic Joshua trees, and star-filled skies, has been hyped up as a must-see destination, but for us, it didn't quite live up to expectations. In this video, we're sharing why Joshua Tree left us feeling underwhelmed. From towns that lacked much to do to attractions that were either too crowded or just as expected from photos, the park didn't quite live up to the YouTube hype. That said, there were parts of the trip we absolutely loved, like our cozy Airbnb, some great coffee shops, Joshua Tree Saloon, and a visit to the fascinating ghost town of Pioneertown. Joshua Tree National Park is located in Southern California, about 2 hours from Los Angeles. The park spans nearly 800,000 acres, making it larger than the state of Rhode Island. It's a meeting point of two distinct desert ecosystems, the higher elevation Mojave Desert, home to the iconic Joshua trees, and the lower elevation Colorado Desert, known for its rugged mountain ranges. Joshua Tree was originally designated as a national monument in 1936 by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and then later in 1994 it gained full national park status. Today, the park attracts over 3 million visitors annually and is recognized as an international dark sky park, making it one of the best spots in the U.S. for stargazing and astrophotography. It is also a massive hotspot for climbers and hikers alike due to the unique rock formations found throughout the park. With this in mind, let's jump into our first stop, Arch Rock. We entered the park through the north entrance just outside of 29 Palms and drove a few miles south to the trailhead for Arch Rock.
We're on the first sightseeing. We are in the national park and we're going to Arch Rock.
After a short walk, we arrived at a stunning rock formation that looked like something out of another world. Over time, wind and rain had carved this rock into a beautiful arch shape. The surrounding area was filled with other oddly shaped rocks that left us wondering how such unique formations could even exist. Out of all the places we stopped at, this area had the coolest rocks by far. I don't know if this is... After exploring Arch Rock, we drove about 20 minutes to Split Rock, another well-known stop in the park. The drive itself was scenic with wide-open desert views and more of those fascinating rock formations lining the horizon. When we arrived at Split Rock, we were a little underwhelmed. While the main rock formation was interesting, it didn't quite have the same wow factor as Arch Rock. That said, this area does feature some longer trails that looked like they could be fun to explore if we had decided to spend more time here. From Split Rock, we made our way to Cap Rock, which was about a 15-minute drive. The drive offered more classic Joshua Tree scenery with the iconic yucca trees and scattered rock formations along the way. When we arrived, we found Cap Rock to be another quick stop. The main feature here is a large boulder perfectly balanced on top of another, which makes for a pretty cool photo. While it was interesting to see, the stop felt fairly short and there wasn't much else to explore in the immediate area. Our last stop in Joshua Tree was Keys View, the highest viewpoint in the park. From here we were treated to stunning panoramic views of the Coachella Valley. We could see the Salton Sea, Mount San Jacinto towering over the horizon, and even Mount San Gorgonio, the tallest peak in Southern California. It was an incredible place to take in the scale of the desert and surrounding mountains, and while it was very windy, the views were absolutely worth the stop. Keys View was definitely a highlight of the day. After wrapping up our time in Joshua Tree National Park, we headed northwest to Pioneertown, an old western-style town just a short drive away. Originally built in the 1940s as a movie set, Pioneertown has managed to preserve its charm and truly feels like stepping back in time. Out of our whole trip, this was where we spent the most time and had the most fun. As we wandered through town, we explored old buildings, wagons, barns, and even saw a few cowboys reenacting the Wild West. But the real highlight was a fun little petting zoo home to chickens, turkeys, goats, and a surprisingly fat pig.
Hello. That was that one. No. Hello.
After a day of trekking through desert landscapes, Pioneertown and the petting zoo were the perfect lighthearted way to wrap up our adventure. All in all, Joshua Tree was beautiful, but it wasn't exactly what we expected. The landscapes were unique and the rock formations were impressive, but many of the attractions felt more like quick stops rather than immersive experiences. I think if we had camped in the park and spent a couple of days exploring the longer hikes, it would have been a much better experience. The sunsets and night skies were definitely a highlight, but even with Joshua Tree's designation as an international dark sky park, the light pollution from the small town of 29 Palms was enough to dull the incredible stars we had heard so much about from our Airbnb. That said, we can see why people love this park, and if you go in with the right expectations and a solid plan, it can be a great place to explore. Would we come back? Maybe, but next time we would definitely do it different. Let us know in the comments if you've been to Joshua Tree and what your experience was like. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures.